You're not gonna go places in life with American cheese, you know? Mm. Okay, I don't know what that was. Oh my goodness, Darth Vader's in the house. There are handles for your hands. This one is controversial. I think I pronounced that wrong. But who cares? Yo, I've been doing this for too long. I'm going too strong. I'm gonna make a man out of you like Mulan. I don't even know what I'm saying. That was something supposed to be for a song that I was putting up, but I haven't even started yet. That's just the thing I have in my heart. This is my aren't it, man? This isn't really making sense. Like I'm broke. See what I'm doing there? No recompense. Oh, I just said that to rhyme. I don't really know what it means. At least not right now. I'm thinking in these schemes, rhyming schemes, scheming all day. Let's just go in this video and say, hey, what's going on, guys? It is Daniel back with another video. And today we have a very interesting one. Letters as weapons tier list. So basically, one day, some of my friends and I were like, what if letters were weapons? And I was inspired by, we saw a stick, it looked like an F. We were like, what if there were letter shaped weapons? What would the best one be? So this is my tier list of what I think the best and worst weapons would be. If you want, you may do it yourself. I believe this is a public tier list, so it should go well if you want to try it. The categories are basically S through F with but you know, I got to spice it up a bit. So we got F in the chat. It's the only one with the actual letter in it. I guess technically not. F in the chat. So awful, basically. You might want to rethink that. Basically D. American cheese. Now this one's confusing. I originally had chocolate, and my thinking was vanilla is like plain, but I personally like vanilla more than chocolate, so I just put chocolate as like it's mediocre. So American cheese, here's what I'm thinking. I actually like American cheese well enough, but it seems like you're not gonna go places in life with American cheese, you know? Like American cheese is just there. It says American, it's probably the unhealthiest. I don't know that for certain, but it's like it's for me. It's like it's fine, but then we got pretty good. Of course, it's gotta be pretty good. That's a lot of damage. So A actually, and this is it has A in it technically, but really it's just F in the chat. And then GG no re. So that's the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Watch me making these rhymes, never gonna stop. Oh, got him. No, it's okay. Another note is I have two letters for each, so uppercase and lowercase. Sometimes they're different, sometimes they're really not, and so I just coupled them together if they're not. But I have different symbols. Hopefully, you can at least pick for yourself which one is uppercase, which one's lowercase. I'm now realizing a possible mistake on my part. And just as another side note, a couple of these letters didn't make it somehow the first time, so the lowercase ones are added in at the end, some of them. So it is out of order. That is frustrating, but it's better than redoing it all. So let's lay some ground rules. Basically, you can sharpen or dull any part you want, so you could have a handle, and then the rest of it is sharp. You can throw items if you want. You could use them as like swords or shields or something like that. Special note for I and J, the lowercase, we are basically saying the dot is a stone. It's not connected to the other thing, but you get both. So you get like the rest of the I or the J and like a little stone, basically. And you can make these theoretically as large as you want, but you have to keep it to scale. What I would say is like I think the lowercase should basically be a little bit smaller than the uppercase, even if they're the same symbol. But basically, it's almost always the same. If they're the same shape, that's basically how I rate them. Except for maybe one actually. But yeah, basically keep it to scale, and that should be everything. So let's get right on into it. I'm gonna pull up my tier list. I went ahead and made a Word document of what I think the tiers are. So we'll start from bottom and work our way up. Starting off with F in the chat. S's. What do S's do? Nothing. What are you gonna do with an S? Like literally, the only thing I can think of is like you throw it, like you would throw any of the letters you can throw. That's awful. S. What is S doing? Okay. Followed up by, I guess I'm not really going in order, but just order of how I wrote them down. We got M. Okay, I don't know what that was. But so M's like, what are they doing? I know that they're different. Like they are different. I don't see a purpose for weapon wise for either of them. So yeah, F. Just know that I did not write down my reasoning for any of these, so I might have to like try and remember my reasoning as I'm going, which will be interesting, but bear with me. Next, we have ins. I guess I should go uppercase and lowercase, right? If I'm keeping the pattern up. Why did I do that? Oh, okay. It doesn't really matter. Nice. So ins, basically the same thing. I mean, they are, again, these are two different ones, but what are you going to do with them? Nothing. The answer is nothing. What's really similar to an in? It's a z. Z's are basically Garbo too. Z's, it's like, what's the point? What is an in upside down? It's a U. It's a U. I like this U. If you notice, there's like people. It's like united. That's pretty cool. But U's do nothing. And last but not least, just kidding, we got W, but upside down. Like, what more do I need to say? And then last but not least, we have lowercase c. This is, I believe, my only distinction between uppercase and lowercase. According to these pictures, now just know that the pictures aren't maybe exactly as I would draw them or write the letters, but it's fairly close. I do think having a bigger C is a little bit better. But I don't know. You could argue C is just as bad as a U or a N. But I didn't. So let's move on to the D tier / you might want to rethink that. Leading off, and you might want to rethink that, we got A. So uppercase A. What I was thinking originally with A's and V's was you could use them as like arrows almost, but you don't have a bow. You just get the letter. So that's not very helpful. You could like charge with it, and this one doesn't have a sharp point at the end, but you could, even that could be sharp. I just think A's and V's, you basically are just charging. Whoops. You're just charging with them, and like, or you could throw them. I guess you could do both, is why it's a little bit better. They're both a little bit better than the F and chat, but still not great. And then for different reasons, we have lowercase a, because obviously uppercase and lowercase are different. I don't really know what A is, other than you could grab the end of it and like charge someone. It almost looks like the Green Lantern ring, but it's not the Green Lantern ring, so yeah. Next, we got capital D. Basically, yeah, you hold one end of it and you charge with the other. Yeah, still not amazing. E, same thing. There's a little fork, kind of, but like if the two ends are longer, so it's not as big a deal. You could argue that E is maybe the best one on here actually, because there's like there's easy. I can't speak. There are handles for your hands. Good placement grip things, you know. Okay, next we got capital R. So some of my friends who were thinking of this, and we all thought of it together basically, but they were talking about R being the worst. I don't think it's quite the worst, but yeah, it is not that great. Things that have like long straight edges are pretty good, but I don't know what really you're gonna do with it. It seems like awkward to hold, to be honest. So yeah. Then we got uppercase K. Uppercase K. Yeah, maybe just charge with it. I don't know. I don't really know what it's doing. What is K doing? It does seem a little better. Like it has two ends sticking out if you wanted to charge. Again, nice like grip areas, but still not that great for battling it out. Next we got capital Y. Whoops. Okay, that works. Capital Y. My thinking was there is a handle. You can swing it. Actually, now I think about it, you could swing it. It's actually better than I thought it was. I only thought about like stabbing people, but you could swing it totally. You know what? First one in American cheese. Woo! Y is moving up in the world. Changed my mind. That's gonna happen probably at some other point. Maybe not. I don't know. But I can change my mind if I want to. Next is G. G, basically, I'm like, what is it? What's going on? It could be kind of a shield. I don't think it's the best shield. I'll get to what I think the best shield is later. But yeah, it's okay shield. It's not that great for offense. And let's be honest, I'm going to talk about this or bring this up again later, but if all you have is a shield, you're going to die. Like, surely, you're not really going to win. I mean, you could. But it's unlikely. And then capital C. So basically, it's just like a little bigger, maybe a little bit easier to hold and charge, more space. Technically, if you were doing the make it larger, you could just make the lowercase c larger. But I mean, even to scale, if it were like this, I think this one's a little bit bigger and a little bit better. Still, it's not too big to where it's awkward to hold, I don't think. So C is going to be the last one, rounding out our D / you might want to rethink that tier. Okay, and with Y leading off American cheese, I like that it's yellow. That's nice. We're going to go with another one to pair it up with. Oh, that was weird English. The letter L, capital L. Are there any? We should see if there's any words in here. I mean, they have to have vowels. That's kind of bad. Evade? Vader. Vader. Darth Vader. Oh my goodness. Darth Vader's in the house.
Man, darkness is coming to land. Whoa, Bill, what are you doing?
I don't have a Darth Vader mask. I have Darth Vader socks. I was wearing them today. Today was our first cross country meet, and I wore them, so that's pretty cool. But I'm not wearing them right now. So also, I now realize I didn't totally mess up my hair, but it doesn't look amazing. It looks interesting, and I'm going to continue to rock it the rest of this video. To pair with L and Y, so I guess not pair, is what I think the best shield would be, which is lowercase e. I think it blocks a little bit better than G. It could be used as like a throwing disc, I guess, and a shield, but there's a little hole which makes it a little worse. But yeah, I think it's a fairly good shield, especially if you make it a little larger.
Evacuate the city, engage all defenses, and get this man a shield.
But I already talked about, I think shields are kind of a bad strat. Next we got O. O, both capital and lowercase. Basically just a throwing disc like Tron. As my friend Timothy pointed out, like Tron, just, you can throw it. I was thinking throwing it. He also talked about you can just hold it, whack it, slice with it. That sounds cooler. Okay, and grammatically correct. So that's a plus. And then Q. So basically, we talked about this. I think Q is just basically a little bit better because there's a nice handle. You could just dole a part of it or have a handle or / grip on any part of this. But the Q, it's a little easier to throw. My friend Migs pointed out, like, if it hits someone's neck, like, yeah, that's a little sharper, you know, I guess. A little more likely to do more damage, but it's still, I think, C tier. I'm not a huge fan of the throwing items it seems like the best way to do it is to throw them. It just seems like not a great strat. This one is controversial. I think I pronounced that wrong, but who cares? Because I am putting R in American cheese. I put the R in American cheese. Jaden Archer, 2020 president. Okay, no. So some of my friends are talking about putting R like second tier. They also had 5 tiers, I think. So I kind of changed that up on them for this. But I thought it was better with 6. But I don't think R is that good. And I will say, I am not a huge fan of the curved ends like a scythe. I don't know. I wouldn't want that as a weapon. So I'm trying to not be biased in that way, but I just don't think it's that good. Even if you make it larger, you keep it to scale, it's not that long anyways. I'd rather just have a straight line than the R, to be honest. So it's going in C tier. It's still okay. It's American cheese, you know? And then the thing that inspired it all, lowercase f. It's like, it's close. Actually, I like this F a lot, but I wouldn't write my Fs like that. I write my Fs with more of a curve. Just talked about, I'm not a huge fan of the curves. It's nice it has that little, like, T thing there. You could make that sharp and attack with it, I guess, on the other side. So that's kind of cool. Maybe I move that up. Nah, it's just one of the better C tiers. And then we got lowercase g. I was just like, what is lowercase g? It's American cheese, I guess. We put the G in American cheese. Daniel Archer, 2020 president. What was my reasoning? Basically, it's like some other letters that I think are pretty good, but it has a curve at the end, and I'm not a huge fan of the curves on the letters. I'm gonna stop talking. No. I think I'm overanalyzing some of this, or maybe not analyzing enough, but maybe I'm overanalyzing, not analyzing enough. Okay, next and last, but not least for this, is capital B. Some point out could be like brass knuckles, which I think is actually kind of cool, and then maybe just even a better charge. You have like 2 hands. You could maybe do it with 1, but brass knuckles is kind of cool. Seems a little bit better than D. Yeah, it seems like a little slightly better version of D, and better enough that it's American cheese rating. And now for pretty good. Pretty good. I just looked at the list and I already forgot. Okay, deleted off. We have capital H. So basically, like, you go like, you know, like you hold in the middle, do this motion. I don't know what it's called, but you do that. You do that motion, and you can do some pretty good damage. You know. Pretty good. Next on the list, we have capital I. Basically, same reasons. It's similar to an H. It's a little bit less, like prongs, I guess. Like the prongs are a little bit smaller, but I think I would prefer more straight letters, and I is a little easier to handle, I would think. So I might pick the I over the H. I think I'd probably pick H over I, but I think I is still respectable in that sense. Next, we got lowercase j. So again, I said I'm not a huge fan of the curves in the letters, but it does have an extra stone. That's pretty cool. It might come in handy. It's B tier for different reasons, theoretically, because I put for different reasons. Uppercase J. It seems maybe like it seems like better version of R. In my opinion, I remember thinking capital J seems like a better version of R. This thing at the end seems like it'd be annoying if you were going for a scythe, even though theoretically you could say, oh, it's like a sharper edge. It seems like make it a little more awkward to handle. J, you could use it as a scythe. I'm not a huge fan of scythes, but it seems fine. I think I would prefer, again, lowercase j to J, but you know, first I gotta work on this J before I start talking about those J's. Okay, but back to the letters. The letters. Lowercase k. So I think I'm higher on this than some of my friends are, but I think K would be like a good mace, if I'm thinking of it right. Like, you hold the long end of the K, and there's 2 spiky things sticking out of it. It seems like a good mace. I don't know. I like the letters with a long handle to grab. And I just think that's better, usually. And for the last one for this section is capital F. We'll get to some other letters, obviously, because there's some left. Up here, I just think it would be nice, almost like a just swinging around, but you also have that middle line. If that hits someone, I kind of doubt it would, because it seems much more likely the top line of the F would hit someone. It could come in handy, though. You could argue, actually, though, that the lowercase f has a little bit more use in the sense that the thing that sticks out on the left would help more than this thing in the F that sticks out to the right. But I think it's bigger, the top is longer, and it's not curved. Straight is better than curved for the letters, in my opinion. For most of the letters. I am hypocritical. I almost said hypothetical. I am hypothetical. That is going to round out pretty good. Now let's move on to that's a lot of damage. So, oh, I just did that weird thing with my hands. Starting off, that's a lot of damage, is my personal favorite letter, even though I don't think it's the best. Capital and lowercase x. They're basically the same. You could argue x is actually a little bit different, or sorry, lowercase x. I would agree, but basically I think it is like a ninja star. Before y'all roast me and say, oh, didn't you say you don't like items that you throw?
I'm not a huge fan of the throwing items. It just seems like not a great strat.
Well, I think this would actually be a good item that you could swing as well. If you're good enough, you can maybe spin it. I just think X you could have such long range with it. I think you're gonna kill some people, you know, with X. X is kill. But I want to know. Okay, no, I am fine. Okay, what is going on? Next, we got T. So I didn't want to spoil it, but basically I think T is a better version of F, or F is a worse version of T, because T is both sides. It's like a pickaxe, I heard someone say, and I agree with that. And pickaxes, I think, would be pretty good. You know, Minecraft, they don't do that much damage. It could do some damage in real life. And now we got some barbecue, and by that I mean I put B/Q. So basically, I think these are the same. Okay, basically BQ and D and P are all the same, except I can't remember. I legitimately can't remember if I have a little thing at the end of my Qs. So trying to think. Okay, I think I do have something at the end of my Qs. So if I'm doing it for me, as I'm not a huge fan of curves, I'm gonna put it down. What? I'm gonna put it down here. Wow. But I kind of spoiled it, but that's okay. Lowercase p and lowercase d, basically the same thing as b. And what I think it is, I think it's basically like a sword with a little handle, and that's nice. P you just flip upside down or rotate it, whatever. Yeah, y'all know, you know, unless you don't know, in which case you don't know, you know. I've said so many times. We got lowercase l. It's a stick. You can do whatever you want with said stick. It's the classic stick weapon. It's the weapon everyone knows, but nobody realizes. It's the L. You can stab with it. You can throw with it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, you know. Next, we got H. I think H was like top tier on my friends list, but I think it's a little. I think it's a little worse than B and D. I just think that having the whole covering would be a little easier to use. I think it would seem a little off balance to have the H but have it not connect back. So that's just my opinion. I originally thought about differentiating B and D just because I'm right-handed, so I'd prefer B. But if you flip the D, it's a B, and you could theoretically do that really easily in real life. So I didn't really care that much. So I was originally thinking I would save GG no re, but like I guess by process of elimination and just seeing these that you know which ones are top tier. But I think I got you, because if you thought I was done, I'm not. And we're going lowercase I, and that's a lot of damage. Basically, again, a stone, but a little bit better than a J in my opinion, because it doesn't. What? I almost said voice crack. That was a burp. Life. Life is good. Eternal life is better. Life is good. Eternal life is better. That's truth. So the I with a stone and then straight line, no curve, seems like a pretty good weapon. Basically like an L with a stone. That's cool. So you could argue it's in GG no re. I tried to make my top tier very selective though. So that's the end of that's a lot of damage, and now we've got GG no re. No way you're coming back alive. And to top not to top it off. Top of the morning to you. To start that group, we're gonna go with P. And here's my thinking. I think P is basically an axe where you go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I think I know a pickaxe, like the pickaxe for T has both sides. It just seems like this would be so natural to hold, I would think. Like people are used to holding axes, I would think, or at least more used than other items on this list. I think an axe would do a lot of damage, and I think a P is basically an axe. So it does have the curve. Who cares? And then I think T, lowercase t, is the best one. I don't have the little curve at the end of my T's. But basically, it's like a sword with a hilt. So you hold it at the short end. A hilt obviously makes it better, less likely that your hand will get cut off. And it's a sword. I think everyone could be used to a sword even more than an axe. So I think it would be the most easily usable. I was going to say accessible. They're all just as accessible theoretically. Yeah, it would just be easier to use, more natural. I think it's personally the best one. So yeah, lowercase t for the win. And finally, we've got this guy, and this is how I draw mine. And you might be wondering, why? And that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully, y'all enjoy, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys. Nah, okay, that was a total joke. Why? I don't actually know where I'd put Y, but you could argue it's like an H, but it's not an H. It's worse. I would probably put it wherever I put it up. I probably put it. You might want to rethink that. So yeah, this is my list. If you'd like to review it, compare it to yours, you can make one on here, Tier Maker, if you'd like. I did have to make a Twitter account to make this. I don't think you would need a Twitter account to fill it out though. And I will quickly put my friends tier list on the screen in like a couple seconds when I finish talking, so you can compare theirs to mine or theirs to whatever you want to do. And here it is. As a joke, we talked about making a video game with these letters as weapons, like Stick Fight, if you've ever played Stick Fight, but with these sort of weapons. It'd be very interesting. And we had joked about like different fonts and different sizes. So yeah, in that game you couldn't make it larger; you'd have to unlock it. And also, Joaquin, who you've seen in the Bughouse videos, brought up that we could push it as an educational game, to where when kindergartners come to school and they're learning the letters, they could be like, "Oh, that's my main! Oh, that's so cool!" and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I kind of doubt that a video game like that will ever get made, but who knows? We might make one. I don't know coding and video game production well at all. It's a struggle enough to make these videos. But even though this really all seems pointless to make this list, it was really fun talking about it with my friends and debating like which letter is better than the other. So this has honestly been an enjoyable experience. So if you want to try it, you can. And spend time with people you care about, you know? That was like actually serious, like in case you didn't know. Go do it. Spend time with people you care about. Stop watching this video. No, please watch. Please. Do you care about? No, it's fine. Seriously, stop watching this video. Go hang out with other people. That's actually going to do it for today's video. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.